Hello guys, welcome to another video where I will be solving paper 1 variant 2 of principle of accounts from October-November 2012. Please do watch this video till end, and if you like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like the video. Let's get started. Multiple choice number 1. For which purpose does a sole trader not use the information provided in his financial statements? So we have to look at the use of the financial statements from a sole trader perspective, and then we have to focus on the not. That's why it's in bold as well. So let's look through the options. To assist with decision making, of course, financial statements help decision making. To compare performance with previous years, financial analysis is a part of financial statements. To determine the amount of his bank overdraft, for this one, you can look at actually bank statement. The sole trader can actually look at the bank statement, not necessarily financial statements. To plan for the future, yes. So therefore, the answer to multiple choice 1 would be option C. Financial statements will not be used to determine the bank overdraft, even though from balance sheet, you can actually tell the bank overdraft amount, but that is not the primary use of the financial statement. Multiple choice 2. Sarah had following assets and liabilities on 1st August 2012. What was Sarah's capital? So basically, this is again an equation where you will be a question where you will be using the classic equation, that is asset equals to liabilities plus equity. You will identify the assets and the liabilities, and then you will calculate the equity or the capital. So non-current assets is an asset, non-current liabilities is a liability, inventory is an asset, trade payables is a liability, trade receivables is an asset. So 3 assets, 2 liabilities. So asset equals to 44 plus 10 plus 2.6, and then liabilities as 10 plus 3.3. Then you have X1 here, X2 here. I'm leaving these numbers on you because I want you to calculate yourself for your practice. Accounting is practice. Accounting is a language which comes through practice. So calculate these numbers by yourself, and that will help you a lot. And then this would be X3. It's the deduction between this, the difference between X3 is the difference between X1 and X2. Once you have calculated this number, you should arrive at 34,800. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 2 is option A, 34,800. On 1st January 10, a sole trader lent Chan $4,000. On 1st November, Chan repaid part of the loan, leaving an amount outstanding of $1,000, which entry was made in the accounts of 10 on 1st November. So Tan gave Chan $4,000 of loan, and then on 1st November, Tan received $3,000 from Chen. So when Tan on 1st January, this happened on 1st January and this happened on 1st November. We need to record the entry of 1st November in Tan's book. So perspective is very important and dates are very important when you are reading the question. So on 1st Jan, what would be the entry? On 1st Jan, the entry in Tan's book would be Chan loan debit, because it is an investment. Tan gave $4,000. It's kind of investment for Tan, and then because Tan gave Chan $4,000, bank would be credited by $4,000. This is on 1st Jan. Then on 1st November, Tan received $3,000, so bank debit $3,000, and then the asset, which is the investment, will go down by $3,000 because Chan paid $3,000, right? So this would be credit. This is the entry on 1st November. You'll find this option, that's option B. So the correct answer to multiple choice 3 is option B. Multiple choice 4. What is the purpose? The purpose of an invoice. The purpose of an invoice. To confirm that a payment has been received. No, that's bank receipt. Option B, to confirm that damaged goods have been returned. No, we do not issue an invoice for damaged goods. Option C, to show details of all transactions with a customer during the month. This is a definition of statement of account, statement of account, statement of account. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 4 is actually option B. And when we read this, to show details of goods that have been supplied on credit, that's when you issue an invoice. That's when a company issues an invoice. So the answer to multiple choice 4 is option D. Multiple choice 5. Daniel allows Joanne trade discount of 25% and a cash discount of 5% if invoices are paid within 30 days. Joanne purchased goods with a list price of $1,200 from Daniel. Which amount would be entered in Joy's purchases journal? In Joanne's purchases journal. In purchases journal, you only take into account the trade discount. The list price was $1,200. You will only pay 75% of list price because you get 25% discount. So 75% of $1,200 comes around to $900. So the answer to multiple choice 5 is option C, $900. Multiple choice 6. On 30th March, the bank columns of a cash book showed an overdraft of 1860. So basically negative 1860. On 31st March, the following transactions took place. So one day after 30th March, what was the bank balance brought down on 1st April, which is one day after 31st March. So I'm just trying to highlight the dates in here because dates are crucial in financial accounting. So we need to calculate the bank balance at 1st April after taking into account these transactions. The balance is negative 1860, paid cash into the bank account, that would be plus 490, and then bought stationery and paid by check, that would be minus 20. So if you do the maths in here, minus 1860 plus 490 minus 20, that comes to 1390 in negative. That means that it would have a credit balance. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 6 would be option A. Multiple choice 7. A bank reconciliation statement starts with the balance in the cash book. It includes uncredited deposits and unpresented checks. It also includes a bank error because bank charges have been deducted twice on the bank statement. How are these items shown in the bank reconciliation statement? So basically this question is asking how you would account for uncredited deposits and then unpresented checks and then bank error slash the bank charges. Considering you start from the cash book balance, and then you're going to get the bank balance, the way of reconciliation or the direction of reconciliation. And how would you treat this when you're preparing or bank reconciliation starting with cash book balance? So starting with the cash book balance, you would actually add the unpresented checks, and you would deduct the uncredited deposits and the bank charges. So therefore, the answer to multiple choice 7 would be option C. Multiple choice 8. On 2nd October, Nana received a check from Zafar, a credit customer. On 12th October, the check was returned unpaid by the bank. Which entry would Nana make on 12th October. So on 12th October, the check was returned as unpaid. So Nana actually did not receive the money from Zafar. So how would she record this in her books? How Nana would record the event, the financial event on 12th of October that is unpaid check? So that would be basically you would debit Zafar, and then credit bank because you did not receive the money. So the answer to multiple choice 8 would be option D. Multiple choice 9. The following account appeared in Amna's ledger. Which statement is true? So this is Amna's ledger. This is Sayed's account. If you look at it's the closing balance, that's 600 debit. That basically means Amna has to receive $600 from Sayed. So if you run through the options, if you just focus on if you just run through the options, option A is untrue, option B is untrue, option C is untrue. Therefore, the answer is actually D9D. So let's read it. Sayed purchased goods $600 on credit from Amna on 14th September. So that basically translates into this statement that Amna has to receive goods of $600. Amna has to receive $600 from Sayed. So these both statements actually mean the same thing. So therefore, the answer to multiple choice 9 is option D. Multiple choice 10, which error would not be revealed by the trial balance? So it's usually error of omission. Error of omission will not be revealed in trial balance because you have completely disregarded the transaction. But you should always go through all the options. But if you see here, just see. So actually, the answer to multiple choice 10 is option B because this comes in line with what the logic is here. A transaction completely omitted from the accounting records because it has no effect, or no financial impact because the transaction has been completely omitted. The answer to multiple choice 10 is option D. Multiple choice 11. Alice sublets part of her premises to Mandy. So Alice provides rental services to Mandy. At the end of the financial year, Mandy owed $100 rent to Alice. So Mandy has to pay $100 to Alice. Or in other words, Alice has to receive money from Mandy. How would this appear in Alice's ledger and balance sheet? So that would be basically on balance sheet, this is going to be current asset. So you can remove option B and option D. You immediately come down to either A or C actually. So if you look, rent received. Yeah, she has not received the rent, so it's not going to be credit. It's actually going to be debit. The answer to multiple choice 11 is actually option C. This would be represented on the current asset side because Alice has to receive this money. It's an accrued asset actually. So this would be reported in current assets and then debit balance brought forward in the rent received account. Multiple choice 12. Which entry is made to record a decrease in the provision for doubtful debts? This is basically a decrease. In other words, there would be a credit to income statement. And if you just look at the credit side, there is only one option which says this. So actually the answer to multiple choice 12 is option B. All the rest of the options are just dubious or incorrect. Multiple choice 13. A wholesaler had the following transactions: sold goods 30,000 on credit, received check 12,000 from sale of old fixtures at book value. How would these transactions be classified? So revenue received or capital received. So 30,000 is actually revenue received, and 12,000 is actually capital received. We will search through the option. That's option C. It matches our idea in here. And the answer to multiple choice 13 is option C. Multiple choice 14. The purchase of a motor vehicle was wrongly recorded as motor expenses. What is the error of, what is the effect of this error? Gross profit understated? No, because motor expenses are actually deducted from the gross profit. So it does not really affect gross profit. So this is answer A is wrong. Option B, profit for the year is overstated. No, profit for the year would be understated. So therefore, that's why it's wrong. Total assets are overstated. No, total assets should be understated in this case because the amount of motor vehicle went into motor expenses. So this is wrong again. Total assets are understated. Yes, this is true. So answer for multiple choice 14 is option D. Multiple choice 15. What is the reason for charging depreciation on a non-current asset? Option B, to charge the cost of using an asset against income. That is basically, again, the variance. You charge depreciation for the use of the asset. Company uses the asset depreciates because of its use, and therefore you charge depreciation expense. So answer to multiple choice 15 is option B. Multiple choice 16. Which entry is required to record the annual depreciation charge on machinery? So that's always debit income statement. For depreciation expense, expenses are debit, and then credit provision for depreciation. And that's option B. So answer to multiple choice 16 is option B. Very simple. If you know these entries, I mean, this is a very easy and very simple question. Multiple choice 17. Why is a sales ledger control account usually prepared by a more senior member of staff than a person who maintains the sales ledger? To deter fraud. This is basically a separation of duties, because if one person does the same job, there's high likelihood of committing frauds over there, because you have full control. So companies try to separate out the responsibilities so that no person is doing the same job. Everyone is doing different things so that frauds could be avoided. So answer to multiple choice 17 is option A. Multiple choice 18. Henry has charged T-Ball's interest on his overdue accounts. Where does this interest appear in T-Ball's control accounts? On the credit side of the purchases ledger control account? Yes, this sounds right. This is an interest on T-Ball's account. So T-Ball has to pay interest. It is a liability. Therefore, it will appear on the credit side of the purchases ledger control account. The answer to multiple choice 18 is option A. Multiple choice 19. A trader provided the following information. What was the revenue? So basically, we need to calculate the revenue. We have given cost of sales, expenses, and then profit for the year. Basically, add back 14,000 plus 8,000 of expenses plus 70,000. So if you sum them up, you would come to a number of $92,000. So the answer to multiple choice 19 is option D. Multiple choice 20, how is capital employed? So if you remember, this was tested in May, June 2012, paper 12, paper 1 variant 2. So if you see, they do bring up same questions again in just a different format. In last year's paper, they asked to calculate capital employed, and in this one they are asking you the formula for capital employed. You see, that's the only difference, whereas the concept is same. So the answer, if you just run through the answers, it's actually answer C, multiple choice 20, answer C, because it's owner's capital plus the non-current liabilities. If you remember, capital employed, there are two things: loan plus the shares or the capital or the equity, the owner's equity. Right? Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 20 is option C. Nirmal, a business consultant, provided the following information. What was the total of the fees received from clients? So let's profit for the year 23,450, rent received from the tenant 1520, general expenses 39,760, loan interest paid 1230. So these are expenses, these are income. We need to calculate the fees received. In other words, basically revenue. In very simple lame terms. So what we will do is 39,760 plus 1230 minus the income 1520, and minus the 23,400, and that will actually, if you just do the math, that should give us the answer as 62870. That is option C. So the answer to multiple choice 21 is option C. Multiple choice 22. A rent account showed a debit balance of 2,000 on 1st January 2011. Rent paid during year end 31st December 2012 was 12,000. 2011 was 12,000. Okay, rent prepaid at 31st December 2012 amounted to 3,000. What was the charge for rent in the income statement for the year end 31st December 2011? That would actually be 12,000 minus 3,000, because 12,000 is the actual paid, and then 3,000 was the prepaid. So actual paid would be 11,000. So answer to multiple choice 22 is option A, $11,000. Multiple choice 23. Which group contains only advantages of being in partnership? Additional finance is available. That's an advantage. Profits are shared. That's actually a disadvantage, because you have to share profits. Action by one partner binds the other. That is again kind of a disadvantage. Option B, additional finance is available, advantage. Responsibilities are shared, advantages. Losses are shared, advantage. Option B is the right answer to multiple choice 23. Multiple choice 24. A partner is entitled to interest on his capital. How is this recorded in the personal account of the partner? This would, if you know this from partnership account, this would actually appear on the credit side. So credit side of the current account, So the answer to multiple choice 24 is actually option B. Multiple choice 25. The financial year of a sports club ends on 31st December. Members' subscriptions received during 2011 were as follows. how much will be shown for subscriptions and receipts and payments account for the year ended 31st December 2011. Again, a question on club accounting. So in 2011, you received the following money, and that is simply an addition, 2,500 plus 50 plus 25, that comes to 2575. The answer to multiple choice 25 is actually option D. Multiple choice 26. Donald's rate of inventory turnover was 10 times. The inventory on 1st January was 800 and the inventory on 31st December was 1,000. So this is the balance of opening inventory and this is the balance of closing inventory. The formula for inventory turnover is cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. You can calculate average inventory. Again, I will ask you to calculate the numbers by yourself because for your own practice, right? And you can follow the rationale here. So average inventory would be 800 plus 1,000 over 2. That's 1,800 over 2. In other words, your average inventory would be 900. Average inventory would be 900. You are given inventory turnover. So 10 equals to COGS over the average inventory of 900. So 10 times 900 would give you the cost of goods sold, Once you have calculated the cost of goods sold, you will be easily able to calculate the purchases because the formula for COGS is opening inventory plus purchases minus the closing inventory. You have a cost of goods sold as 9,000, opening inventory as 800, and then purchases minus the closing inventory of $1,000. So this is actually going to be 9,000 plus 1,000 minus 800 equals to purchases. So that's 10,000 minus 800 equals to 9,200. Again, I've done the maths here, but you should do it by yourself as well. So answer to multiple choice 26 is option C, 9,200. That's your purchases. Multiple choice 27. The issued share capital of DX Limited consists of ordinary shares. The retained earnings were 45,000 on 1st January. So this is opening retained earnings. These had increased to 75,000 on 31st December. So this is closing retained earning. The company earned a profit for the year of 80,000. What was the total ordinary share dividend for the year? And so you have to calculate dividend paid or dividend expense. So how do you do that? You start with opening retained earnings. You add the profit, that is 80,000. Now this should give you a number of 125,000. As a business owner, you should have 125,000 in closing retained earnings, but how much do you have? 75,000. So 75,000 is your closing retained earning. The difference is actually your dividend paid. So what's the difference? Difference is $50,000. Difference is $50,000. So your dividend paid is $50,000. The answer to multiple choice 27 is option D. Multiple choice 28. What are statutory deductions from an employee's gross pay? So again, similar to May, June 2012, but little different. What was the difference? If you go back to my previous video, you will see the difference. So that's why I say you should follow this video completely. It's better for your understanding, and I hope these videos are helpful to you. And as I say, if these videos are helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like these. So from gross pay, you deduct the taxes. Right? So you would deduct income tax and social security contributions. Actually, that is the answer. So Answer to multiple choice 28 is option A. Multiple choice 29, what is not included in the calculation of quick asset test ratio? So if you remember financial ratios, the formulas, the formula for quick ratio is actually current assets minus the inventory over the current liability. So you exclude inventory. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 29 is option B. Multiple choice 30, the cost of owner's personal use of business motor vehicle is excluded from the motor vehicle's expenses. Which accounting principle is being applied? Again, question on accounting principles. So knowing accounting principles is important. There is always going to be a question on that. So actually, if you just read through the options and if you know what accounting principles are, if you know the concepts of accounting principles, the answer to multiple choice 30 is option A, accounting entity. Accounting entity is a principle that tells you to keep the difference between personal and business expenses So therefore, the answer to multiple choice 30 is option A. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like these. Thank you very much.